I'm going to bore everyone again. And I'm going to wind up some people in the comments. And no one has been able to prove to me where this wouldn't solve loads of issues. But I've said it once, I'll say it again, a challenge system in football.
Yeah, well, this is what cricket do.
I'm absolutely convinced that it wouldn't make everything perfect, but it would get us so much closer. Because what you're doing is you're removing the responsibility on the officials to spot everything, and you're challenging the protesters, being the players who feel aggrieved, or the management who feel aggrieved on the touchline, to point out where they think a decision's gone wrong. And then you re-ref the game. Then you ask the referee to have a look at that situation with what he's seen live and what he's being shown, and the information he's taken on from the players and manager, come to a decision. I think it'd add, firstly, a degree of almost tension and drama, which would be great. Arsenal have challenged the call, and then you see what happens. But I also think it removes this whole, VAR and referees in the background looking for any reason to rule out a goal. Because what I said on Forever Arsenal is that actually they were trying to rule out the goal even before for the thing that they shouldn't have been looking for. Basically they were trying so hard to rule out this Brentford goal, looking for any reason why it shouldn't stand. They actually took their eye off the main thing. But imagine a situation in which the linesman hasn't flagged, the ball's going in the back of the net, Brentford celebrate, and then it comes up, Arsenal are challenging the goal, they believe it's an offside, and Arteta and his coaching staff go, we believe Norgard was offside. They've got the footage, they've got the monitors in the background, they go, right, who is it? Number 6, right, we believe he's offside, can you please have a look for that? And then they know what they're doing. And I take it all the way back to a goal that Man City scored against Tottenham in like day 2 of VAR being in the Premier League. I don't know if you'll remember it. Man City 2-2 with Tottenham, they scored late in the game, and it was ruled out for handball because it was deemed to have hit, stroked Laporte's arm before it came to, I think, Jesus, who put it in the back of the net. Anyway, they deemed that handball, it's touched his arm, so we're disallowing the goal. But no Tottenham player ever protested that decision. No Tottenham player ever said, I think that's a handball from Laporte, can you go check it, and disallow the goal. Because of that, had a challenge system been in place, that goal would have stood, and rightly so, because the handball or brushing of the arm never had a big enough of an impact for it to actually justifiably rule out that goal. Right. Do you see how I'm saying by putting the onus on the players and the management, only the really obvious ones where the players can feel on the pitch, hold on, there's been an injustice and we have felt that actively on the pitch, or management off it by looking at the footage. That way, I think you're streamlining what referees have to look at.
I guess the naysayers would say to that is that that's going to take forever for games to end if teams can continually ask for decisions to be reviewed. However,
but they'd have to point out what they think happened.
Yeah, and I was going to add that with cricket, they have a review system where you get a finite amount of reviews that you're allowed.
Exactly.
2 or 3, and that's it. So
give them 3 a game in the Premier League. Each club gets 3 a game. And once the decision goes against you, you lose a challenge.
Because that stops people being frivolous and reviewing things just for the sake of it.
Exactly.
So if you give them 2, say 3, for the whole game, not per half, and I think that would work quite well.
1 minute, you give them 60 seconds from when the incident happened to then appeal it. So if they think something's happened, rather than protesting and going mad at the refs and all this, and then yellow cards are being thrown out, first thing, you go to your manager, look at that again. Please look at it. We think that's a foul. They've got it up there. Quick rewind. Yeah, foul. Right. We'd like to protect. We'd like to challenge it.
And once you've used up your reviews, that's it.
I think it clears up so much. Yeah. Some people hate that idea, and I understand.
People, tell us what you think about that. Me and James have just come up with
we have fixed football. Laurie and James on AFTV have fixed football. What do you think?
And we're giving you that for free.
I know.
You know what I mean?
PGMOL. Listen, what's his name? The Howard Webb. Howard, get on the phone.
Yeah.
I'll happily break it down for you. And
talk to
honestly,
us,
we fixed football.
Right.
Cliff with the super chat says Lee Baser was an absolute muppet for bottling the VAR, but it was Schoolboy defending that gave Tony the chance that cost us the points, not VAR. That is exactly your point as well.
I do still, however, have to make the point that the defending from that particular set piece was horrendous. I think we missed at least 2, possibly 3 opportunities to clear that ball, and we had done that. We wouldn't be here talking about this thing now. However, it is what it is, and we can all agree that currently VAR is not fit for purpose.
No.
Pains me to say, and it needs improving. And myself and James have just given you one way which it could be improved.
Yep.
I really, as an American, don't understand why it is that the Premier League and FIFA in general struggles so much with the integration of technology. We've had like replay technology over here in the States for decades now, and the challenge system is proven to work. It prevents frivolous intervention from VAR, as Laurie alluded to, because let's be real, do we all care about marginal offsides where the guy's toenail is off? Like, no one cares about that. So the challenge system would address that. But then what's also very different over here in the States is that the people who are running VAR in a separate city, usually in New York, they're called replay officials, where all they do is focus on replays and the technology integration, and that's their job. What I don't understand about the Premier League is that you have a guy who is a linesman for a Saturday game, and then next week Friday he's on VAR. Like, that's not his professional job. And what they do in the NFL and the MLB is that every single week they review all the games, they go through everything, they do multiple testing. It's like a weekly drill. Just go, 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 go. And they're the ones that actually have the final say, because they're the ones that have all the camera angles and everything. So when the referee or the umpire actually goes to the screen, they've already pulled up the best broadcast images, the best pictures, the best everything. And then the ref goes to the center of the field and then gets on the PA system in the stadium, communicates his decision to everyone in the stadium, whether the call stands or doesn't, and which team wins the challenge or doesn't. Full transparency, full professionalism. The linesman is a linesman. The referee is a referee. The replay official is a replay official. Limits human error.
Yeah, Harvey, you're absolutely spot on. You've put it perfectly. And I couldn't agree. You know, you're absolutely right. I mean, I didn't watch Super Bowl last night, but I remember watching the NFL and past Super Bowls. And when there's a decision, they come to the center of the pitch and they communicate what's happening or why a decision's made. I think that still exists, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But, you know, that, I think you're right about transparency. You see that in rugby. Was it called TMO?
TMO,
yeah. You go, right, this is what I think. You hear the ref. This is what I think's happened. What are you seeing? Show me the pictures. They're watching it with everyone else watching it. Then they go, right, cool. I'm coming to the conclusion. This decision, this is why, this is the ultimately.
I agree. Harvey makes an excellent point. And I do think that's one of the problems with football in this country, is that sometimes we can exist in this isolated bubble where if we reach out a little bit, we can learn from other sports, both across the water and in this country as well, like rugby. We talked about cricket earlier. Harvey made a point about NFL. We can learn from these other sports to enhance the game here. So yeah, well, absolutely.
Harvey, do you think there's an arrogance about referees and the PGMOL here in the UK? I mean, you're right. You know, you see these other sports. Why am I not learning from them?
I think because I've noticed it sometimes, especially when I speak. I see in the live chat a lot of like anti-American or Yank comments in general. I think it's like, oh, American sports, they're a bit thick, so we have our own thing. But it's just like, one of the reasons I think U.S. football has struggled is because they haven't adopted the European model with like relegation and things like that, right? And it's like, it's not your sport, you didn't create it, adopt it. The English, if you are adopting technology integration into your sport, and people on the other side of the pond have been doing it for decades, learn from it. You know, why are you going through the growing pains that the NFL went through in the 70s?
That's right.
Like, how does that make any sense?
I'll be straight up with you, Harvey. There's a certain snobbery about football in this country that doesn't allude to us learning from other sports in the way you've just described, and it's quite frustrating, actually. This is something that myself and James and people on AFTV have talked about before. Yeah, there is a certain snobbery, especially in this country, in the Premier League. Even in the way we view like football in Europe, you know, we feel, a lot of us, so I'm not saying me and James, the country I'm talking about, they feel that we got the best product, everybody else learns from us, we're not going to learn from you guys. And unfortunately that is...
Well, I mean, in that case, that is true. The Premier League is the best product. I mean,
oh yeah, but it doesn't behove us from learning from other sports and other countries.
100%.
But it's one of the best, if not the best product, because we wax lyrical about the managers we have, the tactics, the players, the goals that scored, the drama that's created via, Palace and Selhurst Park being a really difficult place to go, and a player like Michael Elise can put one in the top corner from 30 yards out against United, because that's the quality teams have, not because we're sitting there going, what a league, eh? They gave that penalty. What a league. Not a single offside
James,
correctly given.
It's the fans.
It is.
I'm telling you, when I'm over here in the States, man, and I watch a Premier League game and you hear the banter and, you know, the things that the fans are saying over the TV, and it's amazing. Like, there's no other experience like it. And that's what makes the English Premier League so special. But, I mean, even things like, some people mention it, the stop clock, right? That'll prevent time wasting. But the shithousery element still remains. Like, if you want to fake an injury and the clock stops, you're still killing the pace of the game. You're still killing the momentum. You're giving your team a chance to catch a breath and regroup. So that those elements aren't lost. And I think that the general, populace in England specifically, because I think they've seen so much foreign intervention, have changed so much the integration of the game and mostly the meritocracy of it. Any kind of changes, I think, is viewed with a lot of skepticism, and rightly so. But there's a big difference between a club like City and Chelsea being taken by billionaires and all of a sudden they're at the top of the league versus, hey, like, we're going to integrate technology. Let's learn from other people and see how they've perfected it. Those are two very different things. And it's important to separate that.